God, that was so
the way
good.
you explained it made it bad.
Because you didn't even notice it, Sammy, and it hurt my feelings. If you want to win a pair of tickets to the San Diego County Fair out at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, caller number 10, you are winning them for the Pet-tacular Fair from June 11th through July 6th. You got a 4-pack for the Summer Pet-tacular at the 2025 San Diego County Fair. Tickets and info, go to sdfair.com. Caller number 10, you're winning those tickets right now at 877-767-4760. Coming up next, time for long shots right here on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Sammy is giving you a free lineup for daily fantasy sports. That's next. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. Are we officially de-chipmunkified?
We are sounding normal. Shout out to Mike Usher and Jeff helping us out.
I'll be honest. Our voices before were probably better.
You think so?
I like the chipmunk. I really do. All right. Every single day around 12:45, we do a little something called long shots, which is what we're about to do right now because Sammy Long is creating daily fantasy sports lineup on a daily basis, and he likes to share it with all of our listeners. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. Before we get to it, San Diego FC back on the pitch tomorrow night. They got Seattle on the road. You can hear the match live tomorrow starting at 5 o'clock right after SDFC Midweek Live right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. Who won those fair tickets?
Jeff won. Shout out to Jeff, man.
What up, Jeff? Thank you for being here, pal.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, man.
Kevin Acee is going to be joining the show coming up at 1:30. We still have Brad Paisley tickets to give away. Those are coming up in hour number 2. But Sammy, before we do anything else, let's get to long shots.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
If you want to follow along today, the best place to do it is on Prize Picks, the app. You can use promo code Fletch, get yourself a $50 bonus after you play your first $5 entry. This could be that $5 entry. Sammy, where are we going?
All right, we're going around the world today. We have one MLB pick, one NHL pick, and 2 basketball picks.
That is all the way around the world. I like it.
All right, so everyone's involved, no matter what your sport is. I'm going to start with baseball. Carlos Rodon, Yankees playing the Angels, 7 pitcher strikeouts. I'm going more than for Rodon. I think that he's playing earlier in the week. They got the big matchup, World Series rematch against the Dodgers this weekend. They're going to want Rodon healthy. They're going to want the bullpen rested. So I think the Yankees are going to try to win this game against the Angels. I think they will. The Angels, ironically, just called Chris Taylor up. They just signed him, the lifelong former Dodger before. So Rodon, I think, goes a ways in this game. I think they're going to want that bullpen ready for when they take the show on the road up to LA over the weekend.
I did get a DM from our buddy Handyman Matt, who's usually on the text line or leaving super inappropriate
I love Handyman Matt. I always look forward to his text every day.
Handyman Matt's a good dude. He DM'd me and said, why the hell did the Padres not sign Chris Taylor?
It kind of would have been smart.
But how much did he sign for? Couldn't have been that much.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He was horrible for the Dodgers for the last 2-3 years.
But the dude could play every position on a baseball field. Why not stick him in left field?
Right. Well, and it's not like it's football where you're looking for insider knowledge.
Right.
But the former Dodger was there forever, knows guys' tendencies. I think that would have been smart, actually. So Rodon, more than 10 pitcher strikeouts. Let's go to hockey. Dallas at Edmonton. Jake Ottinger, the goalie for Dallas, more than 27 goalie saves. This series is going to come down to tonight, I believe. I think if the Stars win this game and even the series, this goes back to Dallas for a 2 out of 3 game set. I think the Stars are going to win this. If Edmonton goes up 3-1, I think they're going to. This is in Edmonton, so Edmonton can come at you in waves. I mean, you got McDavid, you got Draisaitl, you got Zach Hyman playing out of his mind. Bouchard's playing excellent. I think they're going to need a big performance. I would not be surprised if this game goes to extra time. That's always a possibility with hockey. So Jake Ottinger, more than 27 goalie saves. I think the Stars are too good to go down 3-1 tonight, and they're gonna. And then on the flip side, even if you think they're gonna lose, I think that Edmonton's gonna come in waves and try to win this thing. So there's going to be a lot of pucks on net, a lot of opportunities for saves. So more than 27 goalie saves.
Just throwing this out here, and I don't disagree with it because I don't really know Jake Ottinger from anyone else in hockey.
He's a good goalie.
Okay, I believe you. Feels like he's too handsome to have faith in him. Don't you feel like goalies should be a little more rugged? Look like they've got a few black eyes in their life?
So one thing I've always wondered, like, why don't you just take some sumo wrestlers, like 600 pounds, and just stick them on the ice?
It's a great point.
I mean, I think there's rules on the fact that you can't, you have to be certain dimensions. You could literally get too fat and be out of a job in hockey. Think about that. All right, on to the NBA.
Is that real?
I think it is.
You have to be a certain size to be a goalie.
I could be wrong. Text line, help me out. 70470. Start your message with the team. I believe this is true because why wouldn't, if you're a hockey team, you just put some 600-pound goalie?
Yeah.
Say sit there and don't move. You could fill up the whole net. Food for thought.
This feels like an oversight on many hockey teams.
Food for thought. All right, now to the NBA. Game we're all excited for. Indiana, New York. I got a pick for both teams. Tyrese Halliburton more than 21.5 points. Now, went off in game 1. Had the fun, doing the Reggie Miller, the choke was great. Only had 14 points in the last game. Tyrese Halliburton. This is kind of like that Edmonton-Dallas series. Crucial game for Indiana. If they're able to win this game, you give you 3 cracks at it. To close out the series, you're going to have one more back in game 6 in Indiana. If you lose this game, you come off all the momentum, games 1 and 2, winning in New York, having a massive 20-point lead, 17, 18-point lead over the Knicks in game 3. You choke that away, and you lose game 4 in Indiana. I think the Knicks are coming back to win the series. I really do if that happens. I think the Knicks are going to win tonight. But I do think Tyrese Halliburton more than 21.5 points. I think he needs to be more of a scorer. He's the best player on the team. We know Pascal Siakam had 38 in game 2, but this is time for Tyrese Halliburton. You want to be the face of the NBA? You need to go score. I know you're a great passer. I know you can rebound. This is Tyrese Halliburton's night, more than 21.5 points at home.
A couple of thoughts here specifically on the Knicks Pacers series. First one, do we all realize that video that went viral of the trash being thrown at the dude in New York wearing the Halliburton jersey, after that, it immediately kicked off a 3-game losing streak for the New York Knicks? We're all aware of that. Maybe 2-game losing streak. Can't remember.
Yeah.
So you throw trash on somebody, it's going to come back to you in bad ways. Second thought, the memes have gotten completely out of hand with Tyrese Halliburton. All right. Not going to say exactly what they are, but I'm sure you've seen them.
Fletch is all over social media with Zesty and Tyrese Halliburton memes.
Stay away from these Tyrese Halliburton memes, man. I find them actually incredibly disrespectful and hilarious at the same time.
Last pick, Josh Hart, more than 8.5 rebounds. This was the secret sauce for the Knicks. Karl-Anthony Towns, I know he had the big scoring second half, so I'm going to give Karl-Anthony Towns credit. But the secret sauce for the Knicks, 8.5 rebounds. Josh Hart was a menace on the boards. He wasn't in games 1 and 2. Mitchell Robinson, they want to put out there. They actually put Josh Hart on the bench for game 3, started Mitchell Robinson. It kind of allowed Josh Hart to just be a great rebounder. He's one of the best rebounding guards in the entire NBA. And Mitchell Robinson, you worry about at the end of games because it's kind of a hack-a-shack thing. He cannot shoot free throws. It's a massive problem for the Knicks. When you're playing him, you have a massive size advantage, but when he's out there, you worry about them just fouling him and kind of going all over the place. So I think Josh Hart, massive game, building on the 8.5 rebounds. Rebounds, what do they say when you go back to playing basketball in middle school? It's who wants it more. And Josh Hart wants it more than everyone else. I think Josh Hart has a massive night, says his thing back to the Garden, 2-2. So Tyrese Halliburton, more than 21.5 points. Josh Hart, more than 8.5 rebounds. Jake Ottinger, Dallas Stars goalie, more than 27 saves. And Carlos Rodon, more than 7 pitcher strikeouts for the Yankees. Fletch, you got any problems?
The veto was going to be a quick pull on Josh Hart because I think you really like him. And every time we've had Josh Hart in a lineup, he has not gotten it. But then I realized you weren't talking about points. You were talking about rebounds.
Yeah, no, I'm done with points for Josh Hart. They don't give him the ball enough.
Much more okay with it if we're talking about rebounds. Now I just got to scroll to find his rebounds.
How do we feel? Are you vetoing one? No veto.
Only veto that was coming was going to be Josh Hart, but now you went rebounds. I'm all right with it.
I like this lineup. I'm going to tout myself because we have all sports involved.
Look at you.
We have everything.
We went all the way around the world.
Are
you a little nervous that it's all more thans?
It did cross my mind, but we're not doing more thans. Like here's where Vegas wants you to do. They want you to do Tyrese Halliburton more than, Jalen Brunson more than, Karl-Anthony Towns more than parlay. Because guess what? For that to happen, that means that we got to go to overtime and that no one else has to score. I think Josh Hart can still get his over on rebounds while Tyrese Halliburton is scoring a lot, and the other two are kind of individual.
619 Fletch had a zesty comment about hockey goalies. It was a little zesty.
Yeah. Fletch is a little zesty this morning.
I'm feeling a little zesty today.
Nothing wrong with it, but you're a little zesty today.
Hour number 2 is coming up next. Kevin Acee is going to join the show. We got Brad Paisley tickets to give away.
Word of the day, zesty.
We are just getting started here on a Tuesday. Welcome back from the long weekend, everybody. Hope you're having a great time. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. Padres back against the Marlins at Petco, 6:40 tonight. Padres are currently -160 on the money line. Max Meyer will be going for the Miami Marlins, and Stephen Kolek will be going for the Padres. And in the NBA tonight, Tyrese Halliburton will be in the Pacers will be looking to defend home court against the Knicks in Game 4 of their series after the Knicks came back and won in Game 3. The Pacers are currently favored by 2.5. That game will get going at 5 o'clock. Summer can't come fast enough. Opening day at Del Mar, presented by Caesars Sportsbook. It's Friday, July 18th, and it is sure to be a sellout. Reserve your tickets for opening day and the entire Del Mar season at delmarracing.com, powered by SeatGeek.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. Back home.
And the Padres win this ball game in the 11th by a score of 4-3.
A holiday to remember as the Padres beat the Marlins. STFC does it again versus the champs.
Betterman calmly takes it, and San Diego FC will calmly take the 3 points.
People say. Plus, the Knicks finally show up.
The Knicks have done it with a 106-100 win.
And the MVP did too.
Pulls up and fires an angle right three-pointer that's right between the eyes to Cengiz. Second money ball, 17 now for Shea.
It's going to be a short week, so let's get started in the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. We got some breaking news to start off the hour. If you've been keeping track, if you have that tab open up on your computer that you had really ever since February of early 2025, you know that we hit a special milestone today. At exactly midnight, what is that, 13 hours ago, we were 100 days away from football, baby.
Oh my God.
100 on the nose, 99 days, 10 hours, 58 minutes, and 51 seconds to go until the opening matchup of the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. 100 days from right now, Sammy, we're going to be breaking that game down.
Us and all of our listeners, 100 days from now, getting ready. It's like the opening day of NFL season, the night before, is Christmas Eve. It's the best day of the year. It's
the most wonderful time of the year.
We'll be playing that every break on that day.
100 days away, man. It's special. That is special when you think about it. And we got a fun NFL season lining up. We really do. There's still some movement to be determined. Kirk Cousins, where's he going to be playing quarterback this year? If you missed it, he didn't show up for, is it OTAs? Did OTAs start today for the Falcons?
OTA is getting going today. Yep.
Ooh, we're almost there, man. We are in sniffing distance of the NFL season, but that's still 100 days away. Padres season happening right now. We're going to get into a lot more Padres with Kevin Acee coming up at 1:30. Still have those Brad Paisley tickets to give away. And in about 12 minutes, there's some rumblings happening in the golf world that I do feel like I got some beef with. So we'll talk about that coming up in about 12 minutes from right now. But just a real quick start here on hour 2 before we get to the big 3. SCFC gets the win on Saturday, and that was great down at Snapdragon Stadium. Sammy was there for it. There was a lot of unpleasantness that happened around the game. Lots of fights happening in the stands, lots of fights happening in the parking lot. A huge amount of police got dispatched to Snapdragon Stadium to kind of deal with some of this aftermath. Now, it's a rivalry game. The Beat LA chants were going hard. Obviously, there was some unpleasantness. And what I saw on social media, it looked like an all-out brawl. Sammy, you were there. Did you witness any of this happening?
Yeah, it was right. It was right above us. Yeah, it was definitely one of the craziest things I'd seen. I've seen brawls at events. Yeah, definitely. Don't want to see that. But anyone blaming like the security or things like that, like it ain't their fault. Like I'm sorry. I don't know how many. If 100 people get in a fight, it's going to take a while to break it up. So I've heard some criticism about whose fault it is. Like, hey, you can't control some people's behavior. Shout out to everyone who got it kind of stopped. And,
Yeah, I'm not going to stand up on a soapbox and tell everyone how they need to be better. That's not really something I do or Sammy does. But this fighting thing is out of control, man. I don't know what happened during COVID. That's when I really remember it starting to happen in a big way. But we just haven't been able to stop just fighting during sporting events. And it annoys the crap out of me. It really does. I don't know how nobody died on Saturday, to be completely honest, with some of the video that I saw.
That was some of the scariest. Some of it was by the ledge.
It wasn't happening at ground level. It was happening up.
That's what I think everyone started getting alarmed. People started looking up. But hopefully nothing like that happens again, because it sucks that kind of takes away from. I mean, SCFC had a super exciting win, and it was really, people were jacked up. It was a great experience up until all that happened. So
and it's been a really exciting season.
Yeah.
Like they're getting off to a really great start, but now the headlines today about SDFC aren't about soccer, aren't about Chucky Lozano scoring a goal in the final minute. The headlines are about security. The headlines are about fights in the stands. The headlines are about the rivalry between LA and San Diego, but not in a positive way. We just got to do a little better on all that stuff. And look, they say this is why we can't have nice things. Sometimes that's very obvious. This is why we can't have nice things. So let's keep the nice things, because I think SDFC is a very nice thing that we have in this city right now, and let's not lose that. And I don't really care whose fault it was. Let's just knock it off. All right, Sammy, big three, hour number 2. Let's get it started.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
I think all our technical issues are fixed. So if you want to watch the show on the stream at San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube, at Fletch and Sammy on X, you can find us there. We'd love it if you gave a subscription, gave a follow, and we'll keep this train rolling in the right direction. Sammy, where are we starting hour number 2?
We're going to start in the NFL. It is 100 days away, so very excited for all that. The Buffalo Bills, get this, are favored in Vegas to win every single game that they have. And this is amid today, James Cook, who wants a brand new deal, not reporting to training camp or to OTA, and Joey Bosa sidelined with a calf injury.
No timetable for return on Joey Bosa.
No timetable for return, and James Cook wants a new deal. Two things. Has Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry kind of taken the world by storm last year, changed the way that we view running backs, and now we're going to see more holdouts from running backs? That's question number 1. Question number 2, why are the Bills favored in every game? Why?
Okay, let's break this up into 2. All right, so Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, did they change the game for running backs? And more holdouts are coming. Holdouts are always going to be a thing. James Cook had a hell of a year last year. He was really good the year before too.
James Cook's fantastic.
You can use him as a measuring stick for the Buffalo Bills. In games where James Cook has good numbers and good efficiency, the Bills are probably winning that game. That holdout was always going to be coming for a new deal. I don't think the game has completely changed for running backs. I think that you have 2 sparkling examples of what a running back can be for a team. But let's not forget with Saquon Barkley how much time he has already missed in his NFL career due to injury. I believe last season was one of 2 that he's played where he's been healthy for the entire season, and he made a huge difference. The Eagles, who fell apart 2 years ago, went on to win the Super Bowl this past season, and Saquon Barkley was a big part of that. But just because a couple guys have a lot of success doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going to see $20 million contracts handed out to every running back. Not happening. It's not a worthwhile position to do.
I agree with that. But I do think that the NFL, we're going to see a change, because it went from 5 years ago, why would you ever pay a running back? I mean, it got to the point where kids growing up in high school thought, hey, maybe I have a shot at going to a big-time college. Maybe I got a shot to go play pro. I'm not going to play running back, because you think about the toll on your on your body. It's the most physical position. 30 is the age where you start to see a major downslide in production, just because you're getting hit every single play, and then you're not getting paid for it. I mean, receivers catching touchdowns left and right, and they're getting paid $30-40 million a year. In running backs, some of the best running backs in the league couldn't crack 15, 14. Remember Le'Veon Bell? I mean, he was by far the best running back in the league when he was wanting a new deal.
Todd Gurley had 2 years in a row, best running back in football, and then fell off a cliff.
Wouldn't get a new deal. So Saquon and Derrick Henry certainly brought it back, and take into account the fact that you always see every year day 3 draft picks or undrafted guys come in and be like legit stars in the NFL. So then you flip it on its head. Now you have Saquon and Derrick Henry, whose 2 teams were very good last year. Saquon Barkley and the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and kind of for the first time in a long time, we saw a rushing offense that was almost scarier than the passing offense. I mean, I can't remember a team that you were more scared of when they ran the ball than when they passed the ball, in terms of they could rip off 80-yard touchdowns. I do think this is going to change. I think we're going to see a lot more of this in the future. I know Isaiah Pacheco's up in the air, so it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs do there. See if the Bills kind of give into this with James Cook. Do you pay James Cook? Because he certainly has been worthy of a new deal, but with paying Josh Allen in this defense, I don't understand how you could realistically do that.
They got some new guy coming behind him named Ray
Davis.
Ray Davis, is that his name?
Yeah.
Who played really well as a rookie last year. We'll see what he can do in year 2. But look, James Cook, you're probably going to have to break him off. a little bit of money, but it's not going to be anything insane.
Do you agree that the Bills should be favored in every game?
That's what I would like to talk about next. Short answer, no, I don't. But it's really easy for a team to be favored 100 days in advance. These lines will move as the season gets closer. Now, game 1, they're playing against the Ravens. And I did go ahead and take a little peek at their schedule, Sammy. I'm guessing you don't have a ton of problems with them being favored in every game. You have a problem with them being favored on November 2nd at 1:25 p.m. when they play against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, well, no, we already know what the NFL is doing with that. They gave the Chiefs a Monday Night Football game against Washington because we need to drum up suspense because the Chiefs will probably lose to Buffalo in the regular season like they always do, and then we know what happens in the postseason. Now, the Bills are going to lose week 1 in Baltimore. I can say that right now. Baltimore is getting their revenge. They should have won the game last year if Mark Andrews catches that pass.
It's in Buffalo.
Oh, we don't care. That is my favorite bet of the NFL season, week 1 lines. I've looked at all of them. Is Ravens money line in Buffalo. Now, Buffalo's going to be a very good team. They should be projected right there at the top of the AFC. I think you can make a legit case along with the Chiefs, Ravens, and maybe a couple other teams of a Super Bowl pick. But it is really funny to me how the Bills seem to get a benefit of the doubt that even the Ravens don't get. I mean, and the Ravens, I think, are much scarier in the AFC than the Bills are. I think the Ravens' complete roster is loaded and ready to go. And I think Lamar took his game to a next level last year. But the bookmakers love
Here's what I don't really understand with your hatred for the Buffalo Bills is your team has had the upper hand the entire time.
I don't hate the Buffalo Bills.
You do hate the Buffalo Bills.
No, I hate
your tone of voice changes when Buffalo Bills comes up.
I don't hate the Buffalo Bills. I love the Buffalo Bills. We've beat them 4 times in the playoffs. I hurt for other people's teams, aka Lamar Jackson, other quarterbacks around the league who get crushed for bad playoff performances or for not winning in the playoffs. And then somehow the Buffalo Bills every year seem to escape that criticism. And it's beyond me how teams like the Ravens and the Chargers, like they get demolished, but the Bills get a pass. I'm sorry. It's just,
I can kind of see that. But then again, like the Bills are that team that went to a Super Bowl 4 years straight and didn't get it. So don't you think there's a little bit of leftover? We're kind of rooting for them.
I don't root for them.
I know you don't. I kind of do. Bills are my favorite team in the AFC. Josh Allen might be my favorite quarterback in football.
Remember when you jinxed them because you picked the Lions in the Bills?
I do.
Okay, Padres ranked 11th in Bleacher Report's newest power rankings. Do we think that's too high, too low, or just right?
Give me the teams directly in front of them.
I got to pull it up right here, but they fell out of the top 10 for the first time this season because of the 6-game losing streak.
Sounds about right. You don't absorb playing awful in 6 straight games, having no offense, nothing to breathe life into your team for 6 straight games and not fall out of the top 10. I'm curious who's right in front of them, who's right behind them.
Got it right here.
But the Padres, 11 sounds about right now.
Yeah, I think if this was in terms of who could be a threat for the World Series, I think they'd be higher because I think this team has maybe a higher ceiling than some of the teams in front of them. I'm trying to get it right here. So the Yankees are 1, Cubs are 2, Mets are 3, Dodgers 4, Tigers 5, Phillies 6, Cardinals 7, Twins 8, Guardians 9, and Giants 10. I think the Padres at the end of the day will be better than the Giants. I would take them above the Twins and the Cardinals. Again, coming off the 6-game losing streak, you got to drop them in the rankings. Power rankings are extremely fluid, especially in baseball.
Especially on Bleacher Report.
Very true.
they are the kings of just baiting.
I think the only teams that have a legit case to be ahead of them right now are the Cubs. I think have played some of the best baseball all season, actually. They've taken it to the Dodgers. They've took it to the Padres, took it to everyone. You put the Dodgers ahead of them.
The
Yankees and the Mets are starting to kind of put things together, had a big weekend against the Dodgers, and the Tigers have been really successful all year. I don't know if I trust the Tigers quite so much in the playoffs, more like I trust the Padres, and the Phillies are, we know what they are in terms of big sluggers, but
11 sounds about right now.
I think right now.
I think I'm okay with that.
I think we're doing like power rankings.
I think the Dodgers are a little inflated on that list. I really do. Them being at 4, but they just haven't shown it yet. They've sustained
I think that
a
has
bunch
a lot
of injuries.
to do with the injuries.
For sure. But just like the Padres has a lot to do with their 6-game losing streak. You take what they've done as where you put them on power rankings.
Quickly, third story, Persham Sharania earlier this morning, he said, quote, the most craziest ever in terms of what he expects in trades in the offseason. Ooh. What domino who would you rather see moved? Kevin Durant or Giannis?
Giannis. It's not even, I'm kind of done with Kevin Durant's storyline. I don't think we need to see much more from KD. He had his day. He's probably a top 10 talent basketball all time. Top 10 talent.
Oh, definitely.
Not saying top 10 player, top 10 talent in basketball history.
I wouldn't say he's a top 10 player of all time, but you could make an argument he's a top 10 player of all time.
Yeah, but we've seen what we need to from Kevin Durant. Giannis still has some years left where Giannis can dominate this league. Get him somewhere where on a daily basis we can hear about Giannis. By the way, I did see your boy Luka. He's looking very good.
I was about to say that
he's looking very good.
You see Luka trimming down,
you
getting on those green juices.
You can see his full chin for the first time in like 3 years.
Looking very trim. I'm just telling you, the league doesn't want Luka to be skinny.
He's looking good.
Six-pack Luka.
But yeah, give me Giannis moving to a major player, and we're in conversations.
Yes, Giannis would certainly be more than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant could still be massively effective on a team that's close because he is, even at age 38, he's still one of the best pure scorers in the league. He's lethal. Injury history is a problem. You wonder if how many of these years in Phoenix of him having to literally carry the team, him and D-Book, kind of took off of him. Giannis is interesting. Giannis is still a massive superstar. He'd be amazing in Los Angeles. I know Houston wants him. I know San Antonio wants him.
I want Houston to get him. Houston's fun.
Houston's fun, but then again,
they just need a grown up in the room that's not Dylan Brooks.
I think, well, definitely, but I think Giannis would be better if he was the 2, aka New York. Brunson, even though Giannis is a better player than Brunson, maybe at this stage in the career, Brunson's the number 1. Luka would be the number 1 in Los Angeles. If it was Golden State, Steph would be the 1. Because Colin made an interesting point, Coward, like a couple weeks ago about Giannis. We've seen struggle shooting the basketball. Again, no slight to Giannis. Giannis is one of the best players, top 5 player in the league. But we've seen the lack of the jump shot hurt him a little bit, and you wonder if on the Bucks he has to be the primary scorer. If he's the number 2 and is allowed to kind of get more into a pick and roll ball action, I think he could have an MVP season.
Now we have about 25 seconds to squeeze this in, so let's make this quick. But Giannis coming to the Lakers, that would mean LeBron is no longer on the Lakers because Shams is saying he's opting into that deal.
Not necessarily, no. It would mean
so LeBron, Luka, and Giannis all on the court at the same time.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
It would be. Oh, that would 100% work.
That doesn't work.
It would be like a package of picks. Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, the contracts to make it work. Because the NBA, you have to equate salaries. You can't just trade a player who makes $50 million for a guy who makes 10.
The Lakers seem to be able to get away with whatever trades they want. Hence, Luka being
don't let Luka, LeBron, Giannis pair in LA, or it's 3 chips in a row.
That's a problem. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, rumblings happening in the golf world that are a little bit troubling. You'll hear what they are coming up next. And then Kevin Acee at 1:30. Also, Brad Paisley tickets on the other side. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Look, if you are looking to refinance your home loan, if you're looking to talk mortgages, buy a home, sell your current home, or set yourself up in the best situation you possibly can, Gary Cooper is the man to call. 858-376-1299 or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. Going out to lunch with Gary this upcoming weekend. We're trying to really hammer out some details before we start the getting down and dirty on the house hunt for my wife and I. And I can't wait because I really do enjoy talking to Gary as a person. I've known him for about 5 years. He's a great guy. And what's the most important part about working with Gary Cooper is the dude has been here in San Diego, boots on the ground, working on finding people the best home loans, the best possible sale of your home. And he does it quick. And he does it by eliminating the smoke and the mirrors and the shell games that come to mortgages. You talk to a bunch of the bigger companies, and my wife and I did this. We talked to some of the big companies when we were first starting to think about buying a house, and they talk you in circles. You end up paying a lot more money than you need to for a service that doesn't require as much smoke, as much mirrors. Gary Cooper eliminates all of that for you. He'll tell you why when you call 5 different companies, you get 5 different answers concerning interest rates and closing costs. Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. Visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com if you want to get straight mortgage answers today. Gary Cooper, been in San Diego 30 plus years. work in this market in terms of real estate, call Gary today if you got any questions about selling your home, about refinancing your loan, or about purchasing a new house. Again, it is the most important investment you make in your entire life. You might as well have someone you could trust on your side for it. Gary Cooper is that guy. 858-376-1299, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. San Diego Sports 760. Some Drake coming in. Okay. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's SDFC Midweek Live. Hear from the head coach, Mikey Varis, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information. SDFC Midweek Live every Wednesday, right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Then immediately following that, the boys are back on the pitch. They got Seattle on the road. Sammy and I were at the game the first time they played against Seattle. Whoop some Seattle ass. That's what I'm talking about.
Seattle. Yes, we did.
Seattle. What was that?
I was not paying attention.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's just, you ever walk around your house and just like say random stuff and then somebody just comes out when you're around people?
No.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I usually sing. All right. So golf real quick. Sammy, put a clock on me here because people don't care about golf as much as I do. But this is going to be 2 minutes. I promise that I'm done. Remember Live Golf? Live Golf started just after COVID. I want to say 2022, somewhere in there. And they made the big splash because Live Golf was offering hundreds of millions of dollars to bring guys over. Dustin Johnson was the first big domino to fall. Then Brooks Koepka. Then, Phil Mickelson. And then eventually they got all the way down the list and they got John Rahm, who's a PGA Tour truther. But eventually the zeros kept adding up on those contracts. And so they pay outrageous, life-changing, generational cash to these guys to come over and play on a golf tour that essentially nobody watched. So that's problem number one with Live. The biggest problem is that a lot of people, understandably so, are uncomfortable at the source of a lot of this money. But regardless, they pay the money. They get the guys over there. They start hosting tournaments on, I believe it's on YouTube, and that's really the only place you can catch it. I'm sure there's some TV networks out there somewhere that are picking this stuff up. But Live does this. They take the risk financially to bring guys over, essentially splitting the golf world, the professional golf world, into two. And they thought that by bringing these guys over, they would have a realistic shot to go up against the PGA Tour, up against the tried and true nature of what has been golf popularly in the world. European Tour does very well in Europe. It does nothing here in the States. PGA Tour does well enough in the States to keep the thing going, keep the lights on. And it was getting to a point where golf was hitting an all-time high popularity, especially during COVID, because that was one of the few things during COVID that you could actually go out and do without breaking any sort of rules. Because if you get within 6 feet of somebody, they're going to hit you with a golf club. So all that to say, Liv took a bit of a risk thinking that they could take down the PGA Tour, and that risk did not pan out. Story out there today, Dustin Johnson's going to be the first contract that comes up, and Liv has made it clear that those huge money bonuses, those huge signing bonuses, the huge contracts that they were giving out to bring guys over will not be happening a second time. So now that Dustin Johnson is up for contract renegotiation to see whether he's going to stick with Liv Tour or maybe go somewhere else, he is not going to get the same type of money he got the first time around. So he must fall in love with the lifestyle of playing Liv golf, and that's the way he's going to stick around. I say all that to say this. The reason Liv failed, the reason PGA Tour is damaged a little bit right now because of all the golfers that left for Liv is not because they have two leagues competing against each other. It's actually because of an unforeseen third party that showed up in the middle of COVID as well. It's YouTube golf. It's golf influencers who are ridiculously relatable. I went back and did a little bit of reading this morning and a little bit of research on just view counts. Bob Does Sports, the Foreplay Pod, which is a part of Barstool. It's called Spittin' Chicklets, and it's called Good Golf. And there's a couple others I'm missing out, but these are golf influencers, golf people who make their money on YouTube by going out and playing 9 holes, setting up a camera, having a couple people follow them around with video cameras, and they post that to YouTube. All of them, and I'm not kidding here, are getting better ratings than both Liv Golf and the PGA Tour. Some of these guys are averaging like 1 million views per video, and they're short. They're 45 minutes. That's just a round of golf. It's quick 9 holes. Most of them are outperforming what PGA Tour and Liv Golf does. And I think I know the reason why. When Liv Golf paid all that money for guys to come over, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. That is the least relatable thing you could do. Because no one, me or Sammy, we're never going to see that kind of cash unless this goes as well as I think it will. Which, yeah, we'll see. Maybe we get a $400 million contract at some point. That'd be great. But it's not relatable in the slightest. Golf in general forever was not relatable. It's a very country club atmosphere. There's a high barrier to entry. You got
most large parts of the population can't afford to play golf.
Exactly. What YouTube golf has done, what Bob Does Sports has done, is made golf approachable, has made golf fun. And they've kind of kicked the ass of both the PGA Tour and Liv Golf in the process. So please take some notes from this. Look, the best golfers in the world deserve to be in one league together. Fans deserve to have them in one league together. All the PGA Tour and Liv Golf did by splitting up the top talent in the world is piss off a lot of fans, drive people over to YouTube golf, and that is where the success is being had right now. So congratulations to the YouTube golfers, and kind of shame on you, Liv and PGA. God, can we make golf fun again?
Well, yeah, it's a sport that really relies on names. It's kind of like fighters. It's like tennis. The French Open's going on in tennis. Like you need big names playing where people recognize, because it's not the first sport that everyone goes to. So then when you fracture it and you have Liv, and it's something that's decimated boxing for years, that the top guys, all the biggest names, don't fight each other, and they're sidled with different promoters, and you don't get to see the stuff you want. Everyone wants to see all the top golfers in the world playing each other, and yeah, there's kind of a new medium that's coming in and taking it out. But yeah, hopefully they can kind of all get back to that.
I like it. I subscribe. I really do. All right. San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acee coming up next. We're talking some pods with our Padres insider. That coming up right after this break on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Download Prize Picks today. You're going to want to use promo code Fletch when you do. FLETCH. Get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. How about this for your first $5 entry? Carlos Rodon, more than 7 strikeouts. Jake Ottinger, more than 27 goalie saves. Tyrese Halliburton, more than 21.5 points. And Josh Hart, more than 8.5 rebounds. It's that easy. You pick more than or you pick less than on player stat projections for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch and start running your game. My favorite parts about Prize Picks are the promotions. Taco Tuesdays, which happening right now. There are discounts on the board all day long. Flex Fridays, which means on Friday you get a free $20 entry to put in. And it's no matter what your sport is. If you're a huge baseball fan, baseball lineups. Basketball fan, basketball lineups. Football, soccer, badminton, etc. Anything you want, it's up on Prize Picks, and you could also combine those sports to try to get really the upper hand. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. We got Kevin Acee coming up in about 2 minutes. Keep listening. San Diego Sports 760.
This sport is sponsored by the County of San Diego Health and Human Services. The Padres won on a walk-off wild pitch last night. They'll be back starting at 6:40 with Stephen Kolek on the mound. They're minus 160 to get it done. In the NBA tonight, Game 4, 5 o'clock, Knicks Pacers in Indiana. Indiana's currently favored by 2.5 with the point total set at 220.5. This will be Game 4 before it goes back to New York for Game 5. May is Foster Care Month, and San Diego needs loving, supportive caregivers for children and youth in foster care, especially teens, sibling groups, and those with special needs. Become a foster parent today. Visit sdcares4kids.com.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Let's not waste any more time. Hi, Kevin Acee.
Hello, man. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great over here, man.
Great.
Padres seem to have turned it around a little bit. Now, I don't know about you, Kevin, but I'm not particularly comfortable with how they're winning games, but they are winning games 3 out of their last 4. And it really does seem like Manny Machado has been the driving force behind that. Manny Machado, who went into the weekend with 3 home runs on the year, comes out of the weekend with 6 home runs on the year. It feels like it's been the Manny show the last couple of days, yeah?
Manny, Gavin Sheets, a little bit of luck, some good bullpen. Yes. And so you could argue, hey, that's a cool recipe. Well, they're not hitting. And, again, luck to a certain extent. But, hey, that's how you beat a bad team. And you just can't discount Manny. You just can't. Like, that's why he's paid, is every once in a while. And you hope, a little more often than that. But, he's one guy. But he is the guy, and that's why you pay him, and that's cool. He's the only guy who gets a hit, and it's 2 home runs, and they win 2-1. Well, that is freaking awesome. Like, that's what you paid him to do for you that night. I don't feel like it's nitpicking to be kind of down on them right now when they've won 3 or 4, because this is a team that you expect more out of. But I do want to give them credit that they've won 3 or 4.
Whose slump are you more concerned with, Merrill or Tatis?
Tatis by 1,000. Now, that said, it's not his worst, but it's close. And now he's been in the league long enough that, a 20-game slump being close to his worst is something to, and then there's a little unfair to him that we judge so much about him. But you know who else does? The Padres. The guy is a spark. His energy is infectious. And so when it's the opposite and he wears it on his sleeve and he's just down and kind of mopey, well, then that's a bad thing too. So, he's got to get out of it. We've seen it. This is as predictable as it comes when he starts to chase a little bit. And what's weird is I don't think this is as bad as some of the others. He just hasn't run into some pitches. I'm far more worried about that than I am Merrill. Merrill's a young player. Merrill is getting hits. Merrill's not moping. I hope Tatis's dad shows up soon, because that's generally what gets him out of it.
It is interesting that grown men and grown women who are fans of a team, oftentimes, and I'm one of them, have a lot to say about a player's, what you just said, wearing it on your sleeve, their body language, as you kind of roll through a Major League Baseball season. But to ask Fernando to just turn the switch and flip that back to on and to be fun and happy right now, he has nothing fun or happy to have fun about. How do you handle that as a reporter, Kev? Have you ever straight up asked Fernando, hey, why are you so mopey?
Not so many words I have. I think maybe 23, something like that. I don't know. I have a lot of conversations with him. Never straight up. I talk to other people about sort of the effect of it. And it is something that the team monitors. And your point, I love it. I do think a little too much can be read into it, or people jump on it a little too quick. Now, that said, doesn't mean they're wrong a lot of the times. Does mean they're wrong a lot of the times, but sometimes they're right. It is wow, what a difficult thing. Just put yourself in his place, which I know many people would at, whatever the average is, $25 million a year. But put yourself in his place, and you expect so much from yourself. You know how important you are to the team, and you're not coming through. And you have to muster, like when Manny has hit those home runs and Tatis comes out and they do their celebration, I think about how Fernando has to muster up that energy to go out there and sort of be enthusiastic for his friend. And that's genuine and all that. But also he's man, I wish I was contributing too, because I know I'm supposed to. And so just put yourself in his place, and maybe it's not as easy as it seems.
We've been talking a lot about how the schedule kind of really picks up next month with a lot more NL West rivalries, Giants, Diamondbacks, Dodgers. Do you think that's easier for the team to focus when they kind of up the competition, or did they not like it that close back to back?
Well, I would hope for their sake that it is. And I think there's a little bit of that. There just is. I just do but that I don't want to put too much on it, just so that it's not oh, that's why they've struggled or something like that. But I do. I think that absolutely they get they know the importance of these games, and it's just human nature. It just is. I'm not saying they prepare any harder because I just can't stress enough how much this coaching staff, this manager, the leadership on this team has set like this preparation culture. It's really good. But there's just something maybe about in the games, maybe about the execution of a certain pitch. And I think that maybe we discount sometimes how a game turns on 3 or 4 pitches, man, or one throw or something. Like it can be that close, the margins. And so, yeah, I do think it makes a difference.
And it's been a couple of 2-out errors that have helped the Padres out over the last 4 games. Kev, you mentioned this in your tidbits. Gavin Sheets, who has played left field twice in the last 7 games, is the only left fielder in the last 7 games that has a hit. Is there going to be a new name in the Padres clubhouse ahead of the trade deadline to address what's been happening in left field? And why didn't they take a swing on Chris Taylor? Might as well.
Why? What was his batting average? I'm with
terrible.
you. That was my first response, right? That was my first response. Man, because I've watched Chris Taylor have some big at bats. I've watched him be an important role player for the Dodgers. Like, I think highly of him. But like, I asked around, and it's pretty clear. Like, the thought is he doesn't have that left. Now, I'm rooting for him because I root for good ball players. So I hope the Angels. I hope he, helps them out, right? But like, hasn't been good. So like, sometimes it's a name that we get excited about, and that's not the player. So the answer to your question is yes, I absolutely believe there will be, and I think it'll be sooner than later. They can't keep going like this, and no one is even trying to deny internally that they can keep going like this with whatever it is, the second worst production by virtually any measure out of left field, a position that you really would like there to be some production.
If we're sitting here in a month, the Padres are top the division. What pitcher, starting or bullpen, do you think is going to be the name that we're really kind of touting?
I don't know. Are you talking about what they're searching for?
Yeah, or what bullpen piece might has impressed you the most that you think is going to step up over the next while?
Oh gosh, I would hope that, and I would think that there is signs that it's happening. And when I say hope, it's just like, I like to watch good baseball, man. So I think that they're sort of middle-ish, high-ish leverage relievers, Morahone, to some extent Peralta, Jeremiah Estrada, that they seem to have come through a little bit of a lull. And I think that's super important for the Padres. It certainly was early on when they were playing close games, when they were trailing. I don't know what it is, 8, 9, 10 games now that they've won when either tied or trailing in the 7th inning or later. And that means those guys kept it there at -2, -1 and allowed them to come back. Those are just such overlooked portions and it was huge last year, huge. I think they had like 30 of those games and like as in victories where the bullpen kept them in it. And it's just, we talked about Suarez to a certain extent. We can talk about Adam, huge. Absolutely. Of course. But like Morahone and Estrada are giant pieces of this bullpen. And so I just think, look at a guy like last night, like Morgan was big, and we just overlooked that. To me, that might be boring. I don't know that that's what you were looking for, but like it is just so important. And if you don't think so, then like think about how much you complain about them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So if you're complaining about them all the time, then yeah.
Kev, before we get you out of here, let's talk about the starters real quick. So Kyle Hart is coming up to start Wednesday's game against the Marlins. Michael King goes to the injured list. Yu Darvish. What are we on Yu Darvish right now? Is this happening soon?
No, we're still where we are, and I know that it sounds like it's not an answer, but it's what is happening. That this is up to Yu Darvish. That according to virtually everyone, including Yu Darvish, right? Like in not so many words, it's like figuring out how to pitch with a little bit of not feeling great. And some pitchers need to feel more great than others. And Yu Darvish takes such good care of himself and is in such in tune with his body that he feels good when he's out there. And he's 38, about to be 39. And go and ask some of the guys that have pitched to that long, like, you figure out how to pitch old, basically. All right. Because that's basically 70 in baseball years. And so, like, it's you, Darvish, figuring out, okay, I'm okay. I don't feel great, but I can still keep pitching and pitch at a high level a little bit differently in my workout, my in-between starts, how I go about games, how I go about recuperating. I can do this. That's what it is. And the Padres are sort of taking it right now because they trust you, Darvish. You, Darvish, has been good to them. You, Darvish, they know wants to pitch, but it's figuring out how can he be a productive member of this rotation.
All right. Well, we will see. Kev, you were good today, man.
Oh my gosh! Finally, that's very kind of you.
Are you ready for 13 straight days without a break?
Yeah, I think it's 26 out of 27 too, and yeah, these will be fun. This is a good time, but yeah, it gets a little. What is Tatis says draggy. Gets a little draggy.
Gets a little draggy.
You've been going like that.
Kev,
Hardest working man in media, Kevin Acee.
Take your vitamins, maybe some creatine on a daily basis. Really get that mental edge over the rest of the competition. You're doing great, Kev. Thank you.
Oh, affirming me. Thank you so much. See ya.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. The Players Place.
A lot of info in a very quick amount of time.
That was real quick before we get out of here. It's interesting about Darvish. So if I'm
it's confusing.
If I'm reading between the tea leaves, I don't want to misquote Kevin Acee. It sounds like the Padres think he can come back, and he's saying, I don't trust my arm yet, and I want to pitch when I'm perfectly healthy.
That's kind of the vibe I got too.
But with the Michael King injury, now the Padres are probably accelerating the timeline a little bit, knowing that if the Padres are relying on your Kolix, God bless him, looking for a good performance from him tonight. He's been decent. Kyle Hart has certainly had some rough outings.
I mean, this is going to be his first one back in what, a month and a half?
That's interesting, man. Nick
Pivetta is going to get an extra day of rest here, which I'm assuming you're just saying, please God, keep his arm healthy. Like it's a little.
Well, seriously. I mean, you talk about AJ Preller. I gave the Padres a lot of flack for not spending in the offseason, but I got to shout AJ Preller out. I mean, where would this team be without Nick Pivetta? If Nick Pivetta was not signed to this contract,
imagine if they would have actually traded Dylan Cease.
And they wouldn't have signed Pivetta. I mean, this would have been an abject disaster. And the fact that he got Nick Pivetta, I mean, you're looking at potential. I mean, we're assuming Yu Darvish is going to come back and be great. We're talking about potentially one of the aces of the staff in Nick Pivetta, and thank God they got him.
I did not like that Yu Darvish answer.
Yeah, that's a little like.
I did not like that.
He's not coming back anytime soon, but the Padres are going to keep it coy.
That's the thing. It's like he's all right. He's doing rehab starts. I think he's had 2 of them in El Paso. He's going with the team to Toronto, but Yu Darvish, there's still no timetable. It's weird.
Remember when we heard 2 weeks start the year right before training camp?
Yeah, we're not worried about it. Just a little inflammation.
We'll be back in a minute.
Goodness gracious. We'll be back in a few minutes. Brad Paisley tickets on the other side. All right, so if you left that Kevin Acee feeling the way I did, I'm sorry about that. The way to kind of launch your week here on a Tuesday. But we got asked on the text line, any updated news on Darvish? And we asked Kevin Acee about it. And this is what Darvish said yesterday. It's getting better, feeling better every day, especially the last couple of days. Just had a bad recovery from Las Vegas. High altitude, dry, just a bad combination. And the Padres are kind of looking down the barrel right now of what Kevin just say? 26 games in 27 days, 2 separate 13-game stretches.
And against a lot of NL West competition.
And they're going to be without Michael King, at least for part of that, who woke up with a knot in his shoulder, and it's being described as a scapula issue, and he's on the 15-day IL. So they are pitching Kyle Hart tomorrow in the finale of this Marlins series, giving Nick Pivetta 2 days off ahead of this stretch where they're going to need all the pitching they can get. And if you've been watching the Padres bullpen over the last month, how comfortable are you with the bullpen game? Not me. No, thank you. So we'll see with these Padres, man. But this Yu Darvish thing is head scratching. It's getting more head scratching. He's been with the team. He's not with the team. He's rehabbing 2 separate times in Vegas. He doesn't like rehabbing in Vegas because of the air. A little worrisome.
Yeah, and you talk about, I mean, Coach Contreras said last week, who appears on Thursdays here at 1:30, talking about how the teams that use the most pitchers in the bullpen, that's kind of what he looks for. The Dodgers are actually the most, and every other team is terrible around them. Now, the Dodgers have most of their bullpen hurt, so it's kind of caveated because the guys that'll be playing at the end of the year might have a lot of rest, but you don't want the Padres to start kind of creeping up that list where they're having to burn so many bullpen arms for the end of the season, they're gassed. So hopefully Hart, Kolek, one of these guys can really get it together at the end of this rotation and carry some games.
We'll see. There may be a name that we don't know about who's going to be starting pitching for the Padres at some point over these this crazy stretch where they were just playing a ton of baseball back to back to back. All right, John and Jim are going to come up at 2:00 today. Coming up tomorrow, SDFC back on the pitch there in Seattle, taking on the Sounders. Tomorrow night, 4:00. John. Oh, actually, Jim is not going to be here because Jim's in Hawaii.
Jim is doing a vlog.
What, helicopter tours?
If you guys follow Jim Russell, he missed his calling. He should have been a YouTuber. Like, coming up next, guys. Huh?
Wow.
You don't think he would have been fantastic?
You're giving Jim a lot of credit.
He would have been like a fantastic vlogger. We're here at the TikTok house. Have you not seen his Instagram?
Very zesty of you, Sammy.
Yeah. Close. Look at that. You know what that's called? It's called a callback.
Boom. All right, that's it for us today. If you missed anything, it's up on the podcast. Just search the Fletch Zone on the free iHeartRadio app.
20 seconds. Who's winning tonight? Pacers, Knicks.
Pacers close it out. It's done. It's over.
Well, no, it'd be 3-1.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Knicks 2-2. Going back to New York.
The other series is 3-1. OKC's up 3-1.
Yeah, I think they'll close that out tomorrow.
You got Knicks winning tonight?
I think Knicks win it back. Send it back to the Garden 2-2.
I'll be watching. It's gonna be a fun one. Super zesty NBA playoffs. That's what we talk about here. San Diego Sports 760. We'll see you tomorrow.